So if I could talk to my younger self, I would say this. I'd say stop dieting and start living, because if you can't enjoy the food you're eating, it's not going to last. And if it doesn't last, it just doesn't work, plain and simple. You've done the diets, you've lost the weight, you've gained it back. And the thing is, you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're just stuck in a system built on punishment instead of pleasure. And that's not sustainable for anyone. Hey, I'm Trevor, and I've helped my patients lose almost 600,000 pounds while loving what they eat. Because when food stops feeling like a chore, results stop feeling temporary, period. And today what I'm gonna do is actually walk you through 5 key truths that have helped thousands of my patients stop dieting and start living in their bodies that they love without giving up the foods that actually light them up. So here's what we're going to be covering today. Number 1, why diets always backfire. Number 2, why taste is the missing piece to long-term success. Number 3, the psychology trick that actually makes healthy eating stick. Number 4, how to eat like a real person and still lose inches. And number 5, what we actually do inside our 1530 program that you can actually steal and utilize today. Because let's be honest, most people are actually trying to lose weight, but what they actually really want is to stop feeling defeated. So let's actually go ahead and start breaking these down with number 1, why diets always backfire even when they work at first. Let's stop pretending that diets fail because you failed. Because here's the truth. Most diets are actually built to break. They actually work by creating a short-term calorie deficit, so basically less than you need, often by slashing food groups entirely or cutting out our favorites and pushing extreme rules, or basically eating cardboard and broccoli, like I always like to say. So you lose weight, but you lose your mind in the process. And here's why. Your body isn't a machine. It's a survival system. And when it actually senses deprivation, and extreme deprivation like this, like extreme low calories, it starts slowing down our metabolism, increasing our hunger hormones, and cranking up our cravings. Our brain actually rebels against the rules. So the more forbidden something feels, the more we're going to want it. And that's not lack of discipline by any means. It's just physiology, and it's also psychology. And that's just how it is. It's like this. It's like, imagine holding a beach ball underwater, right? You can do it for a while, but the longer you actually push it down, the stronger it actually springs up. And that's exactly what happens when you try to suppress cravings or desires with restrictive diets. So here's a much better way. Stop building a plan that you can barely survive on for 30 days and start building one that you'd be happy to still be doing in 3 years from now. And just like I always say, if you can't do it for a lifetime, don't do it for a day, because we're already defeated before we even take our first step. Because long-term results don't come from restriction, they actually come from repetition and consistency. And how can we actually be consistent on something that we 100% dread? And the answer is, well, we absolutely can't, and we can't expect it of ourselves. And this is actually why we get the ups and downs, because we'll never actually repeat something that we resent long-term. So real quick, if you're actually looking to lose inches and love how you're actually doing it, I'd love to offer you a free midsection treatment as a thank you so much for watching here. Just head over to midsectionmelt.com or click the link right down below here, and we'll actually get you yours. So we guarantee measurable results on the spot, or we'll actually pay you $50 for your time. So let's jump back in here with number 2, why taste is the missing piece for long-term success. Here's the truth. You don't fail because food is your weakness. You fail because flavor was never part of the plan. And the mainstream diet world treats taste like it's the enemy. Like, if your food actually tastes good, it must be wrong. It must be bad for you. It's not going to get you there. All right. But here's what 29 years in weight loss has actually taught me. If it doesn't taste good, it doesn't last. It doesn't have to taste bad to be the right strategy, all right? That is huge. Taste isn't a luxury. It's the gateway to consistency. And your brain is wired to actually seek pleasure. That's how we're wired, especially in high stress or emotional moments. And that's not emotional eating. That's just biology doing its job. So think of taste like the hook to a great song, right? It's actually what makes you want to listen to that song again. And same with meals. The more you actually enjoy them, the more likely you are to actually stay consistent and build habits that actually last long term, not just for the short term. And with our taste-centered nutrition system, we actually make flavor a non-negotiable with our meals that are on target to get you where you want to be, that you actually look forward to eating because they taste awesome. And this is things like protein pancakes with cinnamon and nut butter drizzle with fresh berries on top of that, or Greek yogurt mousse with dark chocolate chips and vanilla extract, or ground turkey taco bowls with guac and also a spicy crema, or chicken tenders with almond flour crust and buffalo sauce. You get real results because you actually want to keep eating like this, not because you're actually forcing yourself to do so. And that's actually how change becomes permanent. So moving on to number 3, the psychology trick that actually makes healthy eating stick. So it's not about eating perfectly. It's about making eating well feel like a win. We actually train our brain to run on feedback loops. So when something actually feels rewarding, our brain actually tags it as worth repeating. And when something actually feels like a punishment, it avoids it no matter what and no matter how healthy it is. And that's just how we work. So if we think about it like teaching a dog a new trick, you don't scold a dog into obedience, you reward it. And repetition becomes joy to that actual dog. And that's actually how we create real behavior change with people as well. Just like animals, right? So most people actually try to out-discipline their biology, but when we flip the script and we actually build reward into the process, the entire thing changes. And something we actually look forward to, and it becomes a joy in the process. So here's what we teach. Each meal that actually tastes like it shouldn't be allowed, this creates a cheating the system feeling that actually rewires guilt into celebration. And that feeling of, oh my gosh, like I could eat this every single day. Boom, you're on the right track. Another thing we teach here is track wins beyond the scale. So tracking better sleep, tracking lowering our body fat, tracking lowering the inches on our circumference measurements, tracking how our clothes are fitting. Fewer cravings is another thing that we actually track as wins. More energy, looser jeans, like I mentioned, clearer skin, and things like that are things that we track beyond the scale. Because if we're following a system and we're doing it consistently, something is moving, even if the scale isn't, because weight loss is not linear. It's not something that's going to go like this. It's going to go like this, but it's going to be moving in that right direction. And if the scale isn't moving and you're following the system, something is moving. So another thing that we actually teach here is using micro wins as momentum. So one could be, I could eat this every single day. That is a micro win. That's a moment that actually leads to another one of those moments. And another one is, hey, I crushed that. That feeling that you have, that starts building us a whole new identity for ourselves of like, I did it. I can do this. I accomplished this. That means I can accomplish this. And it's a whirlwind past that point. So using micro wins as momentum to the next micro win. And when you actually stop punishing yourself for actually trying to feel better and start enjoying the process of change, you actually don't need willpower anymore because you've got momentum, and that is so much more powerful. All right, so moving into number 4, how to eat like a real person and still lose inches, because let's be honest, the diet world has us tricked into thinking that healthy means plain chicken, dry broccoli, and sadness on a plate, right? Here's actually what we teach inside of our program is that you can eat like a real person and still lose inches, boost your energy, feel amazing in your clothes, lose weight, and lose inches. It's not about cutting out. It's about actually stacking smart. So here's actually how we coach it. And these are just generic strategic rules here. Again, if you were in our program, we would dial you in very, very specifically, but let's just talk about these as general rules, right? So start every meal with 30 to 40 grams of protein. So protein is your anchor here. It keeps you full. It reduces your cravings. It helps to regulate your hormones, especially your thyroid hormone here. And it also signals your body to burn fat instead of muscle here. Another thing we coach is adding fruit-based carbs to every single meal, like berries, apples, or bananas, or oranges, or melons, or anything like that. So they digest slower. They don't spike your insulin levels like bread or pasta or rice does. And they actually fuel your brain and your body here. So again, if you have something like insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes, having fruit-based carbohydrates is a fantastic way that you can actually get around the whole insulin problem here, because when you're eating fruit-based carbohydrates, it doesn't require insulin to be released by your body to take that sugar and bring the sugar to the cell to be used as fuel. It just does it automatically. Okay, so that is a way to get around that if you have those challenges going on. Another thing that we actually coach here is layer in healthy fats like avocados, and also actually the fats that occur naturally in our animal-based proteins. Okay, things like chicken has fat in it, things like eggs has fat in it, things like lean beef also has fat in it, because these actually stabilize energy and they improve nutrient absorption, especially fat-soluble vitamins. When we're eating vitamins like vitamin D and also vitamin K, those need fat present to actually work and to actually absorb into the body. So that's how you can do that as well. And another thing that we actually coach is using flavor on purpose. All right, so we don't want to punish ourselves with cardboard and broccoli. We want to use flavor so we're attracted to what we're doing so we can stay consistent. So adding herbs, adding spices, adding dressings and sauces to actually make meals taste like something you'd actually crave and you'd want to return to, and something you're looking forward to, is what we teach absolutely. Thinking of this like remodeling your kitchen. So the question here is like, would you tear out all of your appliances and sit on the floor eating cold food? Of course you wouldn't. You'd actually upgrade it with intention of what works and what feels right to you, and you'd upgrade it in steps so you can actually still function along the way without actually compromising function or style. All right, and it's the same thing with your meals. You're actually building a new body, not a punishment chamber here. So use real ingredients, eat real food, and build it in a way that actually feels worth repeating for you. So here's actually some bonus rituals that we actually teach that I actually want to give you as well. So walking, say 10 minutes after meals. This is actually going to help with your digestion. It's also going to help you regulate your blood sugar levels so you're not getting those blood sugar spikes and those blood sugar crashes. Essentially, when you're walking, you're actually pulling the sugar out of your blood that you just had from that meal. Okay, so if you had pasta or you had rice or you had fruit for that matter, when you're doing that 10-minute walk, your muscles are actually going to vacuum up the sugar that's inside of your bloodstream so you get a nice consistent blood level as opposed to spikes and drops right there just by taking that 10-minute walk. It's a beautiful thing. Another bonus here is drinking water consistently throughout the day. Half your body weight in ounces as a minimum is your goal. And another thing that we actually teach as a tip here is don't skip your meals. Stack your plate with intention instead. So stack your plate with the right things that are going to help you, not hinder you. So number 5, what we do inside of our 15 and 30 program that you can actually steal and implement right away, right now. Most people actually don't need another plan. They actually need a structure that literally works with their body, not against their body. And that's why we built our 15 and 30 program the way that we did. It's not just about what to eat. It's about how to live in a body that you love without quitting carbohydrates, living in the gym, or obsessing over foods, or hating the foods that we're eating. So here's how the framework works. First things first, we teach is protein forward meals that actually stop cravings before they start. So protein forward meals mean protein heavy meals. That is our anchor. That is our foundation, because when we have more protein, that equals more fat burning and fewer crashes throughout the day, meaning fewer energy crashes, fewer spikes and drops throughout the day. You have that ebb and flow throughout the day of energy, which is what we're looking for here. And it also keeps you very, very satisfied from a fullness factor here. Another thing we teach is fruit to keep your blood sugar stable. So we're thinking about berries, bananas, apples, melons, pineapples, and the list goes on here. My personal favorite is fruit smoothies, where I use a banana or two as a base, depending upon how many carbs you're eating per meal. So call it a banana as a base. And then you can add in other fruits. I always go with strawberries and blueberries frozen, right? And add some ice in there as well. These are so satisfying, and they're absolutely blood sugar friendly, even if you have insulin resistance or you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. And if you're not, they're amazing as well, right? Another thing we actually teach in our foundation, our framework, is simple rituals that actually work beyond the scenes and behind the scenes, like daily walking, strategic hydration. So we're talking about sipping on lemon water throughout the day. When we're talking about the daily walks, we're talking about a 10-minute walk after your meals, especially your larger meals. And then intentional sunlight. Intentional sunlight is another huge one as well. And these are all small things that stack very, very big wins. And finally, the mindset upgrades that actually remove that all or nothing trap. So we have that all or nothing mindset in our culture today of work out as hard as you can, work out as fast as you can, work out as long as you can, work out as many times a day as you can. And it's got to be extreme, 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 extreme. And what we're actually teaching in our mindset is the upgrade that it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be about suffering. It doesn't have to be about go, 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 go as hard as you possibly can, because when we're doing that, we're actually in a fight or flight state. We are in a sympathetic nervous system where our body holds on to everything because we're overworking, where we actually want to be in the opposite. We want to be in a parasympathetic state. Rest, relaxation, recovery. That's where we want to be, because when we're in that state, our body says, ooh, I'm safe. I have what I need. I have my protein as my building blocks. I'm good to go. Hey, I have all this extra fat on my body here. I actually don't need to hold on to this anymore because I'm resting, I'm relaxing, I'm recovering. I can get rid of the rest of it. And it starts actually burning fat as fuel. So that's what that mindset upgrade does. And it removes that all or nothing trap. And when you put this into play, you'll finally stop quitting on yourself every time life gets messy, because now the plan actually flexes with you instead of against you. And it's like thinking of this like planting a garden. So you don't just throw seeds in the dirt and hope. You actually give it water, light, good soil, and time. And we do the exact same thing with your health. We don't just throw another diet at you and hope that you stick with it, because diets just don't work. And quite frankly, I don't believe in diets, all right, because I've done so many of them, and it just kind of brought me right back to the starting line again. So we give you the conditions, we give you frameworks, and we give you strategies that actually let your body bloom again. And if you're curious to what this actually feels like, you'll wake up with more energy instead of dragging. You'll be eating meals that you're feeling like, am I doing something wrong here? This tastes so good. Is this actually good for me? Is this going to be getting me where I want to be? And the answer is yes. But the thing is not only do they taste amazing, but they work like medicine for you to actually get you to your goals. And you'll start losing inches and pounds from places that used to feel like permanent stucks for you, all without actually giving up your favorite foods, and all without the feeling like you're constantly on a diet, because no one wants to feel like that forever, and no one can stick to that forever. And how could you expect yourself to do that? That is an unrealistic expectation. All right, there it is right there, the 5 key truths that helped thousands of my patients finally stop dieting and start living in their bodies that they love and in a way that they love. Because diets fail because they're built on restriction, not reality. And taste isn't the problem. Taste is actually the solution. And consistency actually comes from feeling good, not being perfect. And the thing is that you can eat like a real person, lose inches and weight, and also enjoy the process. This is possible. And our 15 and 30 program makes fat loss feel doable, delicious, and sustainable. Because when food actually feels like freedom, not like punishment, you don't just change your body, you change your life. And that's what this is all about. So if this hit home for you today, I'd love to have you go ahead and follow or subscribe for more real strategies like this that actually work in your life. And if you know someone stuck in that diet cycle, please feel free to share this with them. It might be exactly what they need. Again, my name is Trevor. Thank you so much for investing your time with me today. I so appreciate it, and give your best to the rest of your day. Take care.